Yeah! Bit of a laggy one there. Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game. Today we've got Dar Kruger playing 6YA, and he's up against Wad Deeb, who's playing as 2nd UK Infantry Division. So, yeah, interesting. Airport, basically, Red's on the good side. It's the good side because Alpha's a lot easier to defend than Papa is. And Red tends to get this building, well, Red gets to this building first if he so decides to do so. And from that building, you can, shoot people coming in this way. On the flip side, Blue gets Foxtrot and Blue can attack Echo pretty early, whereas it's a bit harder for Red to attack Foxtrot. So, looking at the deployments, you've got Motorized Avklärer going over to here just to scout. And, I mean, that's quite expensive. If you've got a BRDM2 or something, you could send that and it would be cheaper than... Obviously, once the transport sells, it's not that bad. But for your opener, it can be deleterious. Then he's got the BMP-1 PG. So the thing with the BMP-1 PG is that it sacrifices its grenade launcher, its smoke, for a grenade launcher, and it costs, I believe, 5 points more. And I just don't think it's worth it at all. The smoke is so useful. It will save your life on so many occasions. It's unreal. Really great to have smoke. So that is a rough gig, but we'll see how it gets on. Maybe he'll micro it perfectly and just dodge things and then be able to use the grenade launcher. Which can apparently fire while moving. Although it doesn't actually have an accuracy, so maybe it can't. Anyway, then we've got a heli rush. So we've got we got 2 Lufstrumjäger Metis and 2 Lufstrumjäger going to Echo. And then we've got 2 Lufstrumjäger Metis going to Zulu and a CV going to Alpha. So the issue he's gonna have is that I really need to stop itching my nose. It's just my nose is just so itchy. Maybe if it was not massive, there would be less surface area for which an itch could theoretically be generated on. What are you on about, mate? And this has auto sell on it, so he's going to drop this off here, and then this is going to sell. So hopefully he recognizes that. Then he's got 2 Tunguskas because he fears air destroyed his funny helo open. Really, you want to be buying a fighter because the Tunguskas, these are just going to fly straight past that, and this isn't really going to save them. And then, yeah, another BMP 1PG. So really, I think he's overstacked Zulu quite significantly here. I would be putting a Conkers in here 100% of the time. And yeah, what can I say? I mean, the thing is with the helicopters, they are much more expensive than a vehicle, right? So if you look at like Saxon, it's 20. And at the start of the game, they start off landed. Whereas if you buy it, it starts off in the air, and the takeoff and the landing takes a long time. So the thing is, though, that you will get your income back from the transport helos faster than you'll get it back from the car. Obviously, you can't sell a Saxon, but something like I mean, everything he's brought at the start can't be sold, but it's something like this W50, right? Because it's got to use the roads to get back. It actually takes quite a while, whereas this goes, bird flight path, whatever it's called, flight of bird path. I can't remember. And so you actually end up getting, even though your opener's weaker, you get your points back faster, but your opener is weaker. Switching to his opponent's deployment. So this is basically the worst div in the game that you can do a helo rush against, because SAS are forward deployed Mega Man with Stingers with 71% accuracy. So that's going to not go well for these at all, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, right, so he's opened 6, 4 are going here, and one's going here, and one's going here. Sending one here is a bit of a waste, to tell you the truth. If somebody might attack over there, actually, yeah, somebody might attack over there, so I guess it makes sense, because they might send a helicopter. I guess you sort of have to, and what you can do is keep the Saxon with him and move him if you need him, because obviously you can put a Rover Milan there to hold it. He's done that. So yeah, 1 CV for this side, Bravo Foxtrot, and then a Milan 2 going to here, so yeah, you can shoot down the side of this zone. I think rather than Well, okay. I mean, behind the SAS, he does have more guys. I was going to say he should also have a Milan too. So yeah, he's got a Milan too. He's going there. Basically, airport control towers can see further than atheists. So like, if you're an atheist, right, in this house here, well, we've got some bad examples here. In this, wow, atheists have got an upgrade on this map. If you're in this like atheistic dwelling here, atheistic commie block, you know, you can't really see that far. Whereas if you're in an airport control tower, you can see a lot further. Also, if you're a communist in a commie block, you can see a lot further as well. So just something to keep in mind. And honestly, this is because obviously most of you have been watching me for years, and so you know the joke, you know what it's about. But the people, somebody who's watching this video for the first time would just be like, "This guy's literally insane," which isn't a million miles from the truth, but we work with what we have. And then he's got a Rover Milan going over here, which is intelligent, stop people from getting around the sides. And then a Rover Milan for here. Yeah, somebody might come down here. I'll be honest, that's quite doesn't really seem to happen very much. I think it would be better off. Well, the problem is if you put it like, are these even classed as trees? If they are, you could put it here, but then you'd be in tank gun range, so it's not actually that useful. And then 3 arm rifles, and they're going there. Your main concern is that the enemy should get a Conkers in here. Obviously, he's not doing that. And then your arm rifles and your warriors are going to be pretty rough. At least he's brought the Milan ones. So, oh, and he's got CV, which is going Papa and then Echo. So we'll cast the game. We'll do it from this perspective. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. They'll also get early access to my hit game, Hearse Hero, if I survive long enough to make it and release it in 2025. And, you know, they're really helping me out. At the higher tiers, you get your games cast at a rate of 1 a month. At tier 2 and tier 3, you get your games cast at a rate of 1 a month. So, you know, if you beat a high-level player and you want 2,000 people to see it, that's a surefire way to get them, because I don't refuse the casts. I never refuse them. So even if it's like a terrible game, about 1,500 people will see you. Not sure where this is going. Okay, he's changed his mind on this one. I think that's a big mistake. But yeah, here we go. So really, he should have unloaded these as soon as he was in range. Because like, there you go, there goes one. But if he'd unloaded them a bit sooner, he could have got 2 before they landed. I mean, you see that they're not landing properly. This one's just flying around in circles and stuff. And down it goes. That's because he tried to land it on a building. So it tries to land on the building, and then it stands up again, and then it tries to land next to the building, and it all takes a very long time. So, I'm not sure why he's just running straight at it, but like, he could just go in this building. Basically, if you're in the open, you're much worse than if you're in a building. Like, literally, buildings are like half damage. I guess it doesn't tell you, but these also have smoke, so you could have stopped that from happening. You see he's losing his SAS here for no reason. These guys are special forces and shock as well, so you're not gaining anything by running into them with your special forces and shock. So yeah, warriors on the field now. This can smoke, you know, it can live, it can smoke, it can live. And I do question red just putting so much here, because generally blue doesn't attack over here. 2 units would have been fine. And then he could have had more here, and then maybe all his guys wouldn't have died, right? So it's not looking great for red. Looking pretty good for blue, but you see now he's about to get a big cash injection. So that's 90, 180, 180 plus 90, 270. And he did keep this helicopter, so he will now send this over here, I guess. He's got to be careful with the SAS. And yeah, he just shouldn't have really done a helo opener against SAS. I just think that is a mistake. Yeah. Second UK is really OP at the moment. I've been trying to explain this to people, but they just they haven't received the latest Windows update. So this is 240 points, and the SAS is going to kill it. So I... Whoa. Oh yeah, I did. I'm right every time. Every time I'm right. So that was just a really bad purchase, because he knows the SAS are here, he knows they've got the Stingers, and they deal 71% accuracy, and so he shouldn't be doing that. Now, having said that, what happened to the rest of the Warrior Milans? Because I saw it kill one. There's a dead one there. And there's like, okay, so there's, yeah, the third one's here. So I guess the BMP 1PG really messed them up. Yeah, those Lynxes going in when the Tunguska's there is not great either. This guy is very aggressive with his units. Wide deep here. Really needs to chill out a bit. There's nothing wrong with sitting one vehicle back, one building back and just shooting them, right? You don't have to do this, especially given that you don't have any fire support left because it all died. You could also move up the, you know, the Saxons and stuff. HSF to here, sure. I really think he should have moved this Milan 2 up to this airport control tower as well, because this BMP-1P, we said we'd look at it, and he's actually got a lot of value out of this guy. Look how much value he got out of it with his grenade launchers, his PKTs, his Grom thing, his bundles of sticks. He fired all 4. Got a lot of value out of it. And generally the counters warriors, right? But what can I say? Muad'Dib, just massive throw there. Like, he had all his guys and he just ran them across the field and now they're almost all dead. So he's got more warriors coming in. I really think Red should have put a Conkers here. I just don't understand why he didn't do that. Because obviously this is the reinforcement road. Blue can send them here and then manually path them in, but it's just so much harder to do. And yeah, the SAS, you know, they're just getting messed up by these grenade launchers. What can I say? The grenade launchers. I guess if you can micro them so that they don't die, then they're good. But I honestly still prefer the smoke. But yeah, it's definitely making a difference here. It's definitely useful here. So the SAS here died, which shouldn't have happened really. You should pull it back. Jaguar HE went on the CV, which is a good snipe actually. Although I mean, it was a good snipe, right? And he knew there was only one Tunguska there, so he took the chance. Although there was a fighter here. But yeah, he could have bought a Challenger instead. And one Challenger here just constantly donking all these, which don't have smoke, so they can't escape you, is very powerful. But yeah, Dark Ruger is now just swapped entirely into BMP 1PG spam. And now, like, the warriors, there's so few of them that they will... Keep in mind, they are more expensive, the Warrior Milan, 10 points more. It does have smoke, though, and it's got an autocannon, of course. But it would be an ATGM duel, and the BMP ones just outnumber them by so much. So there you go, this Milan 2 is starting to get hits in now. Yeah, what a turnaround, what a turnaround. Blue, he took the zone, he overextended, and now he's getting kicked out. But all this time, he is on a +2, right? This is interesting. I think that might be another Jaguar too. So, okay, I guess he knows that the SAS are dead now, or he just doesn't care. Like, that was a really good hit. Basically, this has cluster and more cluster. I could have sworn this had HE in it. So instead of shake and bake, it's shake and shake, and you know, cluster does do some damage to people. Obviously, it's better against buildings. Sorry, against vehicles. Moving buildings. Sorry, I'm really sorry about this, guys. I'm just washed IRL, and I will be until about the end of March because of the thesis, the PhD thesis, so I'm sorry, you just gotta put up with it. I can't fix it. So you're just gonna have to put up with washed hippie. Anyway, we got a washed Muad'Dib here. Having said that, I'm really not sure why that cluster stuck around after it dropped its payload, and the SAS takes it out while simultaneously dueling all these units. And yeah, Red's really sweeping it, man. I mean, he needs a CV in here. What an army composition, I gotta tell you. He's literally just spamming Motostrokey BMP-1. And he's got one Tunguska, and he's buying some planes. So here we go, a tank coming in to mix it up a bit. Could use another AA piece, really, like a book. Book would be really useful. Maybe an Igler or something. Mortar for smoke, because he could have stayed in there for a long time if he'd just smoked it. And yeah, like some recon, maybe. Like, obviously there's one there. But yeah, this is what a turnaround. What a turnaround for Dark Ruger. Muad'Dib still on a +2, right? But what a turnaround for Dark Ruger. Wow. So nice I say it twice. Air Mobile Pioneers, they've got 3 MGs, which makes them pretty good. But the AT is not great at all. 16 cannot one-hit a 3-armor vehicle, like a BMP-1. So, yeah, I always go for the smoke ones, but he's getting a lot of value out of these grenade launches. I mean, it's mainly because Blue has just refused to buy any tanks and didn't have enough ATGMs, and so there's nothing to punish the BMP 1Ps except Warriors. And because they're cheaper than the Warriors, they outtrade them because both of them one-shot each other with a 17-pen missile. The bundles of sticks used to be 16-pen, which made for an interesting dynamic. Like, these vehicles used to be a lot cheaper. It was a really interesting dynamic, but what could I say? It was too interesting, I guess. Wasn't allowed to stand. So, I think Blue is just totally screwed now. I don't see what... He doesn't have any units left. Having said that, once Red takes this back, he actually still needs to take this zone. So I feel like he should really be attacking with all these BMP 1Ps. He should be using his momentum, and he should be sending these Motostrelki over here, and he should be backing them up with the BMP 1Ps and the tank, because he's losing momentum here, and he's allowing Blue to just keep buying stuff to reinforce, and Blue gets, you know, these HSF guys, they're very cheap, 30 points for 10 men. They're obviously not great in combat because they're reservists, but the point is that you're just padding things out, buying yourself time. 30 minutes on the clock, though, a lot of time left to buy. But yeah, plus almost 600 for Muad'Dib. He was waiting for it to go over 600. He was waiting for it to go over 600 because he was like, I don't want my bro Hippie to be wrong, so I'll wait a little bit. Just wait a little bit to go over 600 there. So, Giant S's, yeah, I mean, you want to get it closer to the front line so that it's got a tighter dispersion circle. You may have noticed that didn't kill that because a lot of the rounds missed. And if you get closer, you got a tighter dispersion circle. But yeah, Red, I mean, man, he had a huge advantage there, and he swept the zone, and then he stopped. I can appreciate healing up your Motostrelki and stuff, but all he's done is just given Blue loads and loads and loads of time to reinforce. And reinforce he has. As we spoke about, you know, the transport helos, they're very pricey, but they get back to the base faster, so you get the money back faster. Here we go, Challengers coming out now as well. So he lost a lot of momentum by buying the RT. I mean, just a mortar for smoke would have been sufficient, and then you just YOLO it with all your Motostrelkis and your BMPs. I mean, he can't see what we can see, right? Sorry, I was just itching my leg there. I don't know, I get these like nervous tics. I'm not sure how else to describe it. I'm not nervous. I'm sat in my room. There's nothing to be nervous about. But I basically, this PhD thesis clings to me like a disease, and I feel like I'm covered in 1,000 tiny biting ants, and so I constantly itch myself. I don't know, it must be like a stress thing. So, if these get closer, then the dispersion circle is tighter, and then they do more than 0 damage, right? The way artillery works in this game is very, very inconsistent. Basically, it lands right on you and does a lot of damage, like 3, or it misses by a millimeter and does nothing. So it is very frustrating. And yeah, what can I say? Like, he can't kill the units as fast as Blue can buy the units to get in here. Look at this, he's got some smoke up now, got some rapiers. So he really... It's a shame he didn't use his momentum. Like, where's this going? Why is it going there? You're not seriously trying to get into Pepper. Whereas, yeah, if 5 minutes ago after Red took this, if he just started running across this field, he would have taken this. And that would have been cool. And then Blue can't reinforce this easily at all. If Red's got this, he has to manually path units to here and then manually path them up to here. It's very, very difficult. Here we go, mortar coming out now, so lots of mortars. Bit of an over-investment, I think. So yeah, he's just trying to hit all the buildings, but you see that, because he's so far away, he's literally just not doing anything. because most of the rounds are missing by a couple meters. You see, when it hits, it actually does a lot, but it's not hitting. Another thing you can do is put a CV next to them so they reload faster and they aim faster, and then you can really pour it on them. Because 6 doesn't get good rocket RT. I believe it gets the Uragan, but nobody brings it because the Uragan's trash. It was just over nerfed. It should really be 2 per card, but it's not. Or like reduce its reload time or something. So yeah, we're just watching the artillery come in. Blue, quite comfortable to just defend and build up. Red, quite comfortable to just defend despite being behind on points. You can tell he's gearing up for an attack. He needs more AA, really. Having an Igla line is a bit weird. I mean, this would have been sufficient, really. If you're worried about helicopters, you just do that. Always keep it up. You'll be fine. And here we go. So this is the blue counter RT. So this thing is not as good in any way as this, which costs the same amount. And you see how, like, so this does more HE, but you see that this does rate of fire 5 rounds a minute, whereas this is 3. And if this has more range, which means that at the same range it will have a tighter dispersion circle, which is very, very useful, but I would rather have double the fire rate. Do you know what I mean? These round to integers, so I'm not sure if it's, 3 and 5 is obviously not double, but this might actually be 2 point something, and this might be 5 point something, so who knows. So, still nothing happening here. How's your day going? Yeah, really? Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope it gets better. Do you have a good Christmas? Oh, it's not happened yet? Oh, my bad. I don't really celebrate Christmas, but I always meet up with my family at that time of year, so we kind of get together and eat food and relax. So I guess that's basically Christmas, right? Just without the presents. Although, the younger kids in our family, we give them presents because they don't really get it. They're like, you know, my friend at school got an iPhone. Why didn't I get anything? Well, it's because we're broke. But but here's some Lego. Although, well, flipping heck, Lego can't afford Lego these days. Lego's so expensive, man. You got to be a billionaire to afford Lego. What am I talking about? iPhone's probably cheaper. So yeah, just nothing happening. He's now sent these back over here. Just dancing them around. Here you go, counter battery. He's moving these, so they're not doing anything. He's just shift-clicked them so that they constantly move. It's worth doing, but generally you want your arty to be closer to the front line when it's firing because you just get tight dispersion circles. But now you'll start getting corrected shot because of this spec scrupper. So when you click on this, you see this. Sadly, it shows the circles for both teams. So this circle here is from that fox, but you can see that this circle here would intersect all those buildings. You see, it would go roughly like that, But yeah, blue can buy the infantry a lot faster than red can take it out. So this is just it's just making it more and more saturated, harder and harder for red to attack, basically. So he thinks he's doing artillery preparation, but it's just not. So if this was real life, it would make sense, right? Although, well, no, it wouldn't actually, because if it was World War One, as we know from the Somme, 6 weeks artillery preparation with airburst shells, the Germans were like, oh, I wonder where the British major offensive of this summer's going to be after 6 weeks of bombardment, which didn't destroy any of our trenches because they used airburst shells. 1 in 3 of every airburst shell used by the British at the Somme was a dud because they were buying them from the Americans. And the Americans had just terrible quality everything back in those days. It's funny. People these days, they say, oh, it's made in China, it's just going to fall apart. People used to say that about Japan, right? And they used to say that about America. It's just the cycle of things. When the economy industrializes, the first thing they do... Charles Dickens, he went to America because they were pirating all his books. And he wanted to stop them from pirating his books, right? So he did like a tour in the same way that Iron Maiden does a tour in South America because they're pirating their CDs, right? I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. And so What was I saying? So when the economy first industrializes, it will make cheap knockoffs of everybody else's stuff, and that's what the Americans were doing in World War One and before World War One, and then that's what the Japanese were doing in the 1980s. And then one day you wake up and you find that the Huawei phones are actually a lot better than the Nokia phones, the Samsung's phones, etc. And the Chinese electric cars are actually a lot better than Ford's latest offering. And you can and that's just the cycle of things. It happened to Europe, and now it's happening to the States. But yeah, you know, obviously, that's got absolutely nothing to do with Warno. But literally nothing's happening, man. What can we talk about? What can we talk about? Remember to eat healthily, and always send your artillery closer to the front lines. But I just don't get this at all. So, well, no, I do get it. I get his. So he's like, I need to build up before I do my big attack. But the way it works in this game is your enemy gets the same income per tick as you. So if you kill all his units, you need to capitalize on that straight away, because if you start building up, he's going to start building up, and your comparative advantage will diminish, because let's say you have 500 points on the field, and you get 1 minute's income, and he gets 1 minute's income. You've got, let's say, 750, just for the sake of the maths, right? Obviously, it would be 760, and he's got 250. It would be 260, right? So, okay. So before, you had... well, okay, at that point in time, you have 3 times more points than him. Yeah, I'm liking this counter battery of the mortars. That should always be happening. And you should never sell the transports your mortars come in, because that's going to happen. And there goes your smoke, right? So, yeah, that's very smart, very intelligent. You could also put a CV with them to make them shoot faster. And so yeah, in that first minute, you have 3 times more points than your opponent. Okay, next one. You get another 250. That's 1,000. He gets 250. He's now got 500. You've now got 2 times more points than your opponent. Do you see? It's changed in the span of 1 minute by that much. And as it goes on and on and on, that comparative advantage you had becomes less and less important. So you've got to capitalize on your advantages. So here we go. He is now doing... So these units have been there for the past 10 minutes. And so if he had just done this 10 minutes ago, none of this would be here, apart from one of them, I think. And that jet probably would have still been off cooldown, right? On cooldown. So he's doing the same thing he was going to do before, but now there's loads of defenses. So you've got to capitalize on that attack. And now, don't get me wrong, it's really, really difficult to do. Attacking's the hardest thing to do in this game. It's so much easier to attack at the start. Attacking is very, very difficult because you've got to control all these units at once. You can't see anything, especially if you don't bring any recon. There's recon here. And you've got to, like, all the speeds are different, right? And it's just so much easier to just sit there and then, oh, this unit's low, click, right click. Oh, this unit's low, click, right click. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I really like the counter battering of the mortars. But yeah, red just waited too long basically, and now blue's got loads of guys. And my prediction for the next 5 minutes in this game, I have not seen this game, is that most of these guys will die, and then these guys will counterattack and take that zone because now there's nobody in it. Yeah, it's looking more and more like that's going to happen. You see it happen so many times. So yeah, if only red had done that motor strelky attack with the BMP 1Gs after he'd taken this zone and killed all blue's units. But he gave blue time to recover. And, like, you know, he could use his giant S's to bring the smoke, right? Or he could counter battery the counter battery because these aren't actually moving. This is very interesting. This is also... we'll see how far he gets. So yeah, it's rough, dude. And, like, certainly when you're attacking, you need this arty to be like, okay, there was a Milan position there, bam, dead. There's a Milan position there, bam, dead, right? You need to be taking those out. Also, your tanks should really be in front of your BMP 1PGs because they have less armor, so they die. So here we go. People coming in here. The thing is, though, if red just sits in the smoke, although he's only got 1 guy left... He should be able to route this. It depends if he gets it, basically. Jaguar cluster coming in. Remember, he never bought the books. So you know, he really should have bought the books, really. If he was going to do the epic build-up strat, he should really be trying to buy books. Like, the Tunguska's doing well. The MiG-31 he had, of course, although that missed everything and then got hit twice. And then... survived. MiG-21 Bison cluster going for what? It went for the tank. So he got it, but he didn't actually have a CV in this zone. Like, he's actually managed this here. Like, this has ran out of ammo. If this had been here, it would still be shooting. And, yeah, but he's always instead, right? And he's not got the CV, so he needs the CV. FITO, 2 shots. What? I guess this was a side shot with a LOR 80. Must have been. Giant S's are now talking. But yeah, he's just losing all his tanks to this air mobile. Shouldn't be happening. Needed recon, really, like more recon with his tanks, etc. I really did like this from Deep, though. This was very smart. And the Giant S's should be hitting the mortars, you know. And, yeah. What could I say? I mean, he's got in there, but he doesn't... Everybody's dead, so... He needs infantry in there, really, but... and a CV. So it's actually still +1 for blue. What can I say? Boxes, probably not the purchase. To tell you the truth, you needed like another challenger there, and you really need to get this to that Milan 2 somehow, like round like that, I guess. Although you've got problems, and yeah, he's trying to clear this out. Should have really taken out these L16s. Shouldn't have been allowed to happen. And yeah, the only thing I know how to say. And yeah. So, these have got their mojo back. They were out of rounds, so they can take this out. Once again, he sold the transport. And yeah. Hey, I made that video, I think. I think it's out. The one where I was sat there talking about how the videos are going to be worse because I am stressed. So yeah. I can't stop myself. Anyway, the Foxes did about as well as you might imagine against T-64s. And they are all dead. The L-16s can also be used to smoke this, so that you can get these guys in here. As it stands, this smoke is actually helping his enemy now. And that's massive blue casualties. Massive. I really did like this counterattack here. I thought it was very cool. Interesting. And that was a good idea. But I don't know what to say. What could he have done differently? He bought a lot of planes. Each one of those planes was a Challenger Mark II. Imagine if he had 4 Challenger Mark IIs in this fight. Go a lot better, right? Also, the Tunguska killed all of his Hilo ATGMs, whereas if he had had one of those planes instead of, you know, doing the Challenger thing, go on the Tunguska, or even the artillery, like the Tunguska hasn't moved, it's been there for ages, then he'd be able to take that guy out. His army composition was a bit weird, like obviously he had a lot of infantry here, but he needed more ATGMs. Another thing is that, and Red has done this quite well, is that he's got people set up. Did this guy ever make it? No, he's dead. Did this kill him? Yeah, he's lost 30 rounds. His composition, yeah. So if Blue had this, you know, you can sort of sneak over there, but the fact that Red has it means that Blue struggles a lot. This guy sees many things. That Tunguska's just done so much work this game, if it's the same one. That Milan 2 gets that BMP. I mean, that was just sort of bad mojo from Red. I'm not sure if he's still got a Hilo infantry CV left, but this would be a perfect time for one, because he really needs it here now. Furthermore, you know, when you're playing 2nd UK, you need to keep your SAS alive the whole game. And there's only one left. And they died in many ways, but generally, like, once you've taken a position, you can move them back instead of just leaving them on the front lines, and that will really help you, because then your SAS won't die, and they'll be able to sit there to be your AA, because if Red started spamming planes now, I appreciate that he's lost all his planes now, I think. We've not seen many, I mean, we've seen fighters. If you started spamming them now, like using the MiG-21 Bison clusters on the Challengers is a great way to use them, because there's not actually that many of these things, especially if they're brought up 1 vet, which they should be, but that means there's only 6 of them. and 2 of them are command ones, and that's if he brings 3 cards, right? So then he starts killing these, right? You got to kill all the SAS before you use your planes, basically. But yeah, Dark Kruger, you know, he managed to get the Mott Hudson in, but the bombers are starting to come off cooldown now, and there you go. Is that going on the Tunguska? It is, so that's how it's done. And then it can't shoot you if it's dead, right? I think he was really going for the tank, but it worked. This needs to smoke him back, and it does. And yeah, that was just Red being greedy with the CV sending it like this. If he'd just sent it around here, he'd be on a plus now. And these points are very, very open, particularly when every single building, almost every building, has been destroyed. We've got 2 left here. So he's trying to get this in, and there you go, he's sending it this way, and he knows they're not coming this way because he's got this here. This is a bit... I can sort of understand it. You don't want people crawling around. So you could use a recon healer. Oh, this div... I don't think it gets one. I can't remember. No, doesn't it get one that has 4 PKTs? Or am I making that up? It's KDA that didn't used to get one. I don't know if they fixed it. Or was it Gropers? I can't remember. Anyway, you know, you gotta replenish your recon. You gotta replenish your recon. And it would be cool to just send 1 unit across here and just see if you can get in there, because if you can, then the enemy really struggles to reinforce. Like, Red's doing alright for himself now. Blue's lost a lot. He's managed to keep this challenger alive, which is big. And he's still got plenty of challengers left. But Red, you know, he needs the CV in the zone. That's what it's all about. And I've noticed his last mortar is dead now, and his guns have fallen silent. That just shouldn't have happened. That's another thing. He sent the infantry forwards. Oh, he shoot me from there. Bam, 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 bam. You know, you could also use them for the smoke. But look at this. Like, has he managed to kill a single plane in this game? I don't think he has, you know. He did his absolute best to reverse into that. There's a dead plane. But imagine if he'd had the books out. All these Jaguars would be dying. They wouldn't just be coming back constantly. That is 1 dead Spetsgrupper. These ones seem to have, like, quite fast bullets. Like, that seems faster than this. Obviously, these are coming over a greater distance, so I'm not sure if that's actually true, but... There you go, something is finally happening here. Always worth, especially if your arty's just got nothing to do. You just send 1 unit forwards. Oh, there's a guy there. Bam, 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 bam. Hit him with the arty, you know. Even better if you don't stick around to engage. You just pop up, see him, and then run away again. These guys, because they've got the security trait, when they're stood still, they get good optics, which means that they can see further, right? These Lynxes just keep dying, man. And yeah, okay, so Dark Kruger, these are really slow tanks, by the way. You should have just fast-passed it down the road. And then you got to leave it on the road for if the cluster comes, then you can road around. But generally, this is what your mortars are for the smoke, because then you smoke this, and then you sit behind it, and the enemy hits the smoke. He doesn't hit you. Always worth doing that, because if you just make a little puff of smoke, especially with like a howitzer, your enemy tends to just bomb the smoke, and then you die. So you got to make it less obvious where you are. Obviously, it's impossible to do that if you lost all your mortars to these. And you see, he's been trying to hit these for ages, but because he's so far away, it's just not doing anything. Like, he will occasionally do a little bit. There you go, he's in. So there you go. But eventually, another Jaguar cluster's going to come. So now he's on a +2. And he's got 8 minutes, which I don't think is enough time. I think this just simply took him too long. You would expect 6YA to outscale second as the game goes on. But I think second's a bit OP, to tell you the truth. I think it's... there you go, here's another Jaguar cluster. And it's coming for the CV. And there's no books. There's no books. And he loses 2 more tanks there. And there's no books. Is that a book in there? No, it's another Tunguska. I don't understand it. He's got literally the best AA in the game with the books. You just got put 2 of them back there, and then you'd be killing these every time. He got 1. But he needs to have backup CVs. At this stage in the game, you need to get backup CVs, because all Blue's got to do now is smoke this and just fast path it in, neutralize it, and then I'm pretty sure he wins. So 7 minutes on +2, you get a tick every 1.5 seconds. Call it 7.5 divided by 1.5. No, that's actually harder. Call it 6 divided by 1.5. That's 4. 100 points. Let's get the calculator up. So 6 minutes and 30, so 6 minutes is 360, plus 30 is 390 seconds. 390 times 2 is 780, so he would win if he keeps that plus 2. Pretty sure he would win. But there's a CV here and he doesn't have one anywhere on the map. Here's one. And this is something I see a lot of people do. They buy the CV when the one at the front dies. It's too late. Do you see what I mean? It should be ready. It should be ready. So you can put CVs with your arty, and then when you need them, send them forwards, and that way you've always got an extra CV. But particularly as the game gets closer and things get tighter, your enemy's got to snipe your CVs. That's what he's going to do. And so you need to have backup CVs for that. So you see Deep here smoking this, and he will probably get that challenger in, and that'll be the end of this game, I reckon. There's a MiG-21 cluster here. There's still hope for Red. He sees it. He's coming in for the kill. Willie, is there any... There's a tracked rapier here. It all comes down to this. It all comes... He just decided he didn't want it. He just decided he didn't want it. I don't understand. I guess he must have lost vision. He must have lost vision. So this is going to get in now. I can't believe that. He must have lost vision there. So he's coming in for a blind drop. Oh man, he gets routed by the Jaguar HE2. He would have got it. It was a really good position. He would have got it. Especially given that this guy is, you know... He went for the road, right? Which you'd expect. So there you go. That's the game. Pretty good game. We saw lots of turnarounds, lots of overextensions. I liked that when Blue was losing here, he did a little push in here. That was really cool. He got a lot of value out of that, and I liked the use of smoke. I mean, people are using smoke more now, probably because I've been saying it literally once a day at 7 AM UK time. Once a day I've been saying use smoke for the past 2 years. So, yeah. Well, no, it's been a year and a half, really. Where, I don't know. So, yeah, you know, it makes a big sound, but as you can see, it's literally done nothing to that. And that was 3 of them shooting it. And there was just no CV, bro. There was a really close game in the end. It just came down to a little bit of the... I mean, we say it came down to the RNG, but so many mistakes were made before that no, it didn't. And that's often the case for these games. There is RNG. Sometimes things don't go your way, but generally you've made so many other mistakes that you could have fixed that you can't turn around and say, I just got bad RNG. Unless it happens to me, in which case, you know, it was the RNG. These really did quite well for themselves. I used to bring the M270s, but they're just so bad that I think this is probably better. Even though on paper it's worse than this. It's still, you know, because the fire rate and the aim time. It's still good. I prefer him to the 155s. So there you go, he's in. But it's too late, I think. I think it's too late. I think it's too late. So this guy, will he get in? I mean, this is on mediocre cohesion, but he's literally... there's a Milan 2 here. Can't really see this working out. He's trying to get it off, but it's not fast. Okay, we just got a little bit lucky there. So now he's trying to... He needs to hit this Milan 2, basically, with his arty, which he's just had too far away. These have been close enough that they're really benefiting from the dispersion circle, right? Whereas these have just been at the back of the map all game. They've just been so ineffective in comparison. Even though they shoot a lot faster, they should be better. Yeah. 2 minutes left, +2 for red. There's still a challenger here, but I think red just won't get the points. He can try and get this in, but he needs to deal with this. And until he does... Like, why isn't this shooting that? Did it just not see it? I guess it couldn't see it, because it's only got bad optics, and this isn't recon, and this isn't recon, so that is interesting. And yeah, okay, so smoke coming in again, but the motor Strelky should get here in time. Another thing you can do is you know, move your tanks up a bit, although this guy's in a position which disincentivizes that. So this guy might get in. There is one here, but Phantom. Why? Could have unloaded that one and saved it. And here we go. He's got a fast path this in now. He's only got 1 minute left. This Challenger, he's on low cohesion, which makes his accuracy go down by 75%. 75% of 65 is a lot. So obviously the accuracy will be very low. The fire rate's very low, and he hit it first time. I mean, all he really had to do is make sure the tanks went first. So he's got you can't say, you know, oh, RNG messed me up there. Listen, you know, you had the 4 tanks. You should have just waited a few seconds. I'm not sure it would have made too much of a difference. This is only a +1 with, you know, with half a minute left. Probably wouldn't have made a difference. But here we go. I mean, the Challenger here, he's trying to shoot it, but the Challenger is like, you know, out of the heavy tanks, is the worst anti-infantry tank in the game. That's the game, because it's only got 1 MG and the fire rate's so low. So this is Muad'Dib, rank 308, with 54 games as NATO. I wonder if they're all second UK. And this is Dark Ruger, rank 146, with a lot more games, actually. A lot more games. So credit to Muad'Dib, really punching above his weight here. And you saw the... you know, this guy should really know better. He's got so many games and rank and stuff. He really shouldn't have opened MI8s into SAS. That was just really weird. And then he turned it around with the BMP 1PGs. And then he just sat there for 20 minutes and let his enemy build up. But look how much damage that Tunguska did. This was the one we were talking about. Got a lot of value out of that. The artillery really should have tried to get it. And, you know, this one got quite a few as well. No, did we see any Lynx rockets? Not a single card of Lynx rocket. Weird. I mean, I like having 1 card of Lynx rocket. Just because they can be useful, you know? Rocket healers all over the place. Anyway, do let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. GG.